I can see that you just mentioned you are from Delhi.
Sir.
Your father is IPS officer.
Sir.
You stay in Chanakyapuri, studied from Sanskriti school.
Sir.
Aren't you too privileged to become a civil servant? I mean, it's good. You can be IAS officer, fine, maybe corporate law service officer. But these privileges you have will be detrimental for your good work in services like IAS, isn't it? IIT.
Sir, I feel, my primary motivation for joining the services was indeed to give back to the country that has given me so much. So like you mentioned, sir, I have lived in a government house all my life. So my college education was government funded. The school I went to was built on government land that was subsidized. My fees was subsidized because of the same fact. So I owe a huge debt. Everything I am today is because of the government. And sir, so all the privileges that you also mentioned are because of the government itself. And sir, I owe my life to the government in that sense. And I believe working in the civil services is a way of repaying that.
You studied from Sanskriti, then you went to St. Stephen's, right? And I can see that the privileges written all over your DAF. Aren't you too privileged to get into civil service?
So whilst that is a reasonable assumption to make, I think those privileged institutions have guided me very well in ensuring that I am connected to the ground that I belong to. Secondly, sir, I have also ensured that throughout my career in college as well as during school, I was always giving back to the community, which has indeed blessed me with invariable luxuries. So for example, sir, my work at my own organization that I co-founded, which is PSEX, across Haryana we have worked with a lot of schools, with a lot of children at the front line. Apart from that, sir, I've been involved in a lot of social entrepreneurship programs within the college itself and outside. I've been trying my level best to give back, and I think the ethos of being publicly oriented does not segregate you when you go to institutions like this.
Well, Meghana, I think actually, going by your DAF, your study things, you're actually spoilt of choices, if you look carefully. I mean, you're a person who, I can see your father is a senior officer, your mother is also a senior officer. You're two privileged children, right? Same thing happens about your education backgrounds and subject availability, things like that. Tell me honestly, aren't you too privileged to get into this service?
Sir, I do not believe that this privilege has come to me when I was a child. I have seen days when my father was struggling as an assistant engineer, when my mother was in the clerical services, and I studied in a very normal school. Sir, afterwards, it's my parents whose hard work I have motivated from, the inspiration I draw. Then my father was the one who told me ever that you should always aim high and you will reach one day. So now they have reached that position, sir. So I might look that I am privileged, but my background is humble, and my studies from BTech to IIM, I think, sir, it was my parents' motivation and my hard work which have reached over there. I do not think it is a privilege.
My concern is that because of these privileges,
Sir.
your personality in fact lacks certain things, for example, that your father might already have. I mean, he might not be coming from as privileged background as you're coming from. So if you compare your background with his background, and then you'll realize that isn't it that you have imbibed certain values which are detrimental to become good IAS or IPS officer? IAS is fine.
Sir, it is my understanding that, sir, privilege is not the primary factor that drives one's traits or the different virtues that a person imbibes. So it is a factor of your internal thinking, the way you have been brought up by your parents, the challenges that you have faced in your life. And so while a thing like privilege can certainly ensure that living in a rural area perhaps might be tough, or also living in a far-flung area might be tough. So but my perspective is that is a challenge I want to overcome. So I want to give back to the country, and I want to ensure that by going there I can understand the true nature of India, of which I've only read about in books.
Rupal, I was going through your DAF, and it appears that you are a very privileged chap. Both your parents working at nice places, and overall you studied from nice institutions. Do you believe that you are too privileged to become a citizen?
So my parents' background, professional background,
has indeed been a blessing to me, because it has allowed me to pursue the education of my choice and even work for and even decide to prepare for this exam, taking a decision on my own. But sir, having said that, since my father is in public services, I have also got a chance to hear from it the various issues which are prevalent in our society with regards to development. And so I think that this has offered me an insight to which motivates me to come for civil services.
Anyways, thank you. Because I believe the kind of privileges you have already seen, and the kind of privileges you enjoy so far, having doctor parents, well settled, economically well settled family, having a huge annual income of your parents, it suggests that you are a very privileged child. These very privileges are obstacle. I'm not saying just that they may hamper. They are obstacle in discharging your duties in civil services. You are not even aware what other nation faces. I mean, you are so privileged that you are too privileged to become an IAS officer. What are the problems that you may be facing because of your privileged background?
So being from a privileged family, I have always got whatever I needed. Like, I did not have to do my job while preparing for civil services. But when we come at grassroots level, people, they don't have this good facility available that they don't have to do the job and they can study. So this issue, I cannot take everything for granted. Where I'll be serving, people won't be getting such things for granted. So I will have to leave that resting attitude which I have, that without job also I can prepare. I will have to be on my toes rather than ignoring the privileges.